Cathy.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ola. And I'm a purring Luna. And welcome to Luna Bird Book Club.
Today we are talking about The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan.
Which is book 1 of The Wheel of Time.
Oh, you're doing the wow. I just thought you were just making weird noises.
Cathy, you have reread this recently.
I have
Why? Why did you reread it recently?
Because season 3 of The Wheel of Time by Amazon Prime was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good. It just made me want to spend more time in The Wheel of Time. So I went back to listen to the audiobook of Eye of the World.
Time.
I forgot about that.
I've had such a good time. And now they've cancelled the TV show.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
Which we talked about in another vlog.
Yeah, we did. Go and watch it.
Go watch it.
Do you know what's really interesting to me about this is that when we did our Cathy's just read all of The Wheel of Time, what did you think video, you were like, I will never read this book series again.
Yeah.
And now here you are, back at the beginning.
Honestly, I genuinely, exactly that, read the series, thought, I'm so glad I've read it. It's been a great experience, but it's so long and time consuming, I probably won't ever revisit it. And now I'm revisiting it.
In audiobook form though, which
In
is much
audiobook
more,
It
not
is.
easy, but it's, you don't have to, you're not faced with that huge block of a book 14 times in a row.
I'm listening to it like on the way to work, on the way home from work, whilst I'm washing the dishes.
Plus you don't have to carry it everywhere.
Listening to the book's been very good because I don't need to worry about pronouncing the names.
Just wait till we get the incisions.
Oh, really? I just really, really enjoyed it this time through. I can't believe what a I enjoyed it the first time reading it, but the second time it's just so much more rewarding. There's so much detail packed in these stories that seem like throwaway comments at the time were just like, oh, it's just adding a little bit more colour to the world. And coming back to it now, like, oh, all these like little tidbits, they're so significant for what's
Robert
going
Jordan
to come.
Is a very talented planner, writer.
Really enjoying it. So I was like, Rachel, can we talk about it?
Absolutely. And I said, you want to talk about Wheel of Time? Absolutely. So what do you want to talk about?
Okay, let's do...
what was your favourite thing about it?
Ooh.
I'm sitting on my feet because I'm excited.
I should say this is going to be spoiler filled.
For the whole series.
Do you know, I think the first time I read it, I was making lots of comparisons to Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
Because The Eye of the World, it takes its structure very much from Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to it now, I feel a bit more divorced from that comparison. So instead of being like, oh look, this is the little village boy giving his quest to go out, I'm much more attuned to the differences.
Mm-hmm.
So really, like, Rand isn't given a quest to leave his home. Rand's running for his life with his friends, and he doesn't know why. And that confusion and mystery, I think, drives a lot of the story forward. So I really enjoyed that.
And it's not just Rand running for his life, it's Rand running to save his village as well.
Yes.
Like, if he stays in his village, they come and attack the village.
Yeah. Yeah. And on some ways, I love how unknowable the Dark One and his plans and his forces are.
The Dark One?
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Bad guy.
Dark, evil lord. And he's such a mystery in this first book. We don't get who he is. And even, I don't know if this is something I like about the book or something I don't like about it. But there is such confusion over the Dark One, Ishmael, Balsamon. Because it feels like when you're reading it, Rand definitely feels like they're the same person. But there's even clues in the first book that they're not. But Rand doesn't know that.
No.
And we don't know that. No. And because they don't even talk about the Dark One, we can't name him, there's just like these things they repeat about, oh, he's imprisoned at the moment of creation. With his Forsaken, and there he's going to be, but you don't name him, don't bring his eye on you. He's just so unknowable, and how do you survive against that? Because things are changing, there's Trolloc armies, winter is holding on, spring's not coming, what are people going to eat? And wherever they go, there are people out to get them, and they don't know why, and they don't know where they're going to come from. So there's such a layer of like terror and tension throughout the book, which makes it so compelling.
Spring isn't coming, that sounds like Narnia.
Yeah, it is a bit like Narnia. Oh, I love Edmondsfield. Edmondsfield. I always call it Edmondsfield.
Yeah, it's not Edmund.
Everyone's in Narnia.
Everyone's in Narnia, clearly. Edmondsfield. I love that. I love that village. Again, I think when I first read it, you're like, oh, look, this is the shy city.
I love that you just listened to the audiobook and still can't say Edmondsfield.
The village, Edmondsfield, has its own distinct vibe, culture, society, tradition, and I love it. And I love how, this video's going to be very rambling.
That's okay. We love a Wheel of Time ramble. WoT Rambles? That's what the series could be called. WoT Rambles.
So there's this big, I think the big thing that makes Wheel of Time distinctive are actually there's these huge concepts that drill down into kind of every element of it. So one of those concepts is that there's this power that women can use and be very powerful with it, but if men can use it, they go insane and kill lots of people. So power in men is feared, and power in women is revered and respected. But because of that, that has like a cultural impact far beyond that. So even in the government of this village, like the men have their council.
But the real power lies with the women's council.
Yeah, and the women have their own council, the women's circle, and all the men are very in awe of the women. If they might make their plans.
And who can blame them?
Well,
women are amazing.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
and they have a woman wisdom who also is a position of power and influence, and there's this tension between men and women, and kind of not a battle of wills as such, but the women know that they have to be in charge, and the men kind of know that they have to keep the women happy, and that I just love how this big concept world thing drills down to the smallest village.
Yeah,
it's cool, isn't it? I think another huge big concept of the Wheel of Time that is so interesting is the idea that time is a wheel, and I don't think it's yeah, I know it sounds like the Wheel of Time, time's a wheel, but the idea of there are I think it's 7 ages that this world goes through, and then they will just return and go through it again. So everything that has been can be before, and they go round and round and round, but the ages are so long that there's no memory of it apart from a hint in myth. And the other way that Wheel of Time concept plays out is that people are reincarnated, so people have past lives and future lives, and some people, like the Forsaken, aren't being reincarnated, they are just living forever as they are, and they remember people in new formations, or when they arrive in new formations, the Forsaken can remember their older selves, but they have no idea who their older selves are. And so that has threads of destiny and fate and choice, and all of that again drills down to every minute choice that people make. And I think that's really, really fascinating.
Do you think the history of Edmondsfield, Manetheren, Eldrine, Aemon's wife, feels him down on the battlefield, releases a huge surge of power that takes out all the Trollocs in, I don't know, 100-mile radius, something like that. Do you think Egwene is Eldrine reborn?
I do now. I can't believe I never put that together. Yes.
Okay, because obviously there's similarities there. Do you think that it is the same soul, or?
I think that would be really fitting for the Wheel of Time if she was the same and she came back at the right time, and it would fit so well with who Egwene is and become. The first time I read this, I think I found Egwene a bit annoying, like the younger sister tagging along. Do you know what I mean? Something that didn't really consider. But this time, this is so Egwene. She wants to get out there and see the world. She wants more for her life. She wants this opportunity to become an Aes Sedai, and I really kind of respected that more this time round. I think the first time I was kind of a bit sunk more into Rand's viewpoint of this young girl's coming on a really dangerous thing, and I'd rather stay and be safe. Also, loyal. The moment he appears, you just fall in love with him. The whole creation of Ogier, these huge, big, giant-like creatures who are so gentle and thoughtful and want to build great things and grow trees and are peace-loving.
It's very like Perrin in that way. Now that you've described Ogier as like that, I'm like, Perrin is the human version of Ogier.
Yes. Yes, he is. And I love them both.
And they're really good friends.
Yeah.
Aww.
And that's another big draw, isn't it? Is like there's these characters that they just draw out your compassion, your interest, and it's really nice spending time with them. Lan, the stoic warrior who is also a king, like the defender of Moraine, and his growing love for Nynaeve. In the first book, Nynaeve and Lan kind of openly declare their kind of interest in one another, and also the fact that Lan believes they can't be together.
Mm-hmm. And then at the Eye of the World, when Balthamel who throws Nynaeve across the way, and Lan's like, do I save Moraine or Nynaeve, and he's torn. Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's compelling.
It's so good. The world is so rich. Bless you. I think I remember the first time reading it going a bit like, oh my goodness, why am I spending so long learning about this innkeeper or this captain of the ship who's just happened to rescue them, and like why is he talking about all these journeys? And now reading it through, knowing what's going to unfold, I'm like, oh look, he's here! I love this guy. This is when he's introduced, and I was thinking, actually so much of what he's going to do is already here. Bail Dorman. So not only does he rescue Tom, Matt and Rand and get something for the Trollocs and takes on his ship, he's also talking about how, you get travelling and you get the bug and you get to see the wonders of the world. And I have a few items in my collection myself.
Here's a seal on the Dark One's prison.
Yeah! when a character's introduced, and then suddenly you just get to learn so much more about the world you're in.
And I think, for me, a big theme in the Wheel of Time is about the humanity of everybody.
Yes.
Rand struggles for so long to try and close himself off to people, to be stone, to be iron, to be Quendiar, to be unbreakable. And really, Rand's journey comes to its peak when he recognises that it's okay to care, and it's okay to connect with people and to build relationships with people. So I think when we spend so much time with Bail Dorman learning about him, when we learn all about Basil Gill, it's that element of humanity and everyone having their own story and building connections with the people that they're travelling with that feeds into Rand's journey altogether. Do you know what I mean?
I do, and I never thought of it that way. But
he is such a loving man, Rand is, and he tries to shut himself off from that.
Yeah.
And I think the way that he interacts with people in the Eye of the World is an indicator of what the capacity that he has to love.
Yeah.
And to just recognise people for who they are.
Yeah, because that's the thing that's kind of constantly under threat in Wheel of Time, both from the Dark One and also, armies coming from abroad and power struggles within and the Aes Sedai. They're a big, powerful people, and because the stakes are so high, they are often willing to pay any cost to win. Because they think, as long as we win, then the world will be safe, or we'll keep our empire, we'll keep that. And they will routinely sacrifice the lives and freedoms of the little people. But you're right, the Wheel of Time is all about learning who those little people are and realising they have such a rich life.
And without the little people, what is it for?
Yes.
Who are you saving the world for? If you're buying the future of the world at the cost of all these little lives, what's the point?
Yeah, and every time that argument's put forth, like, well, you can sacrifice that, or they can sacrifice that, you have rounded out other main cast who know opposite. And even Moraine kind of has to learn that lesson a little bit. She's never out about killing innocents, but do you know what I mean? She has to soften a bit too. I think that maybe is why it's such a rich book to read, because it just imagines so much detail and depth in everybody. And I think that's why it's just such a beautiful, powerful series, and why people return to it so much. And it does have its issues to it. I know it'll have its pacing issues to come. And even I would say that as like a standalone book, the final arc, even on the second time through, and again I was listening to it so maybe I got distracted times, it's all a bit confusing of, so we're going to the Eye of the World, there's the Green Man, which, what?
Semester.
And then there's two Forsaken, they're kind of fighting.
And then Rand disappears to Tarwin's Gap. And, and there's different voices and different strings of power, and there's a lot going on that we don't understand.
Yes. And the fallout of that we don't quite understand. I can't remember, is it said at the very end of that book, oh, Rand is the dragon? Does Moraine say it to Lan or something like that?
I don't know if she specifically says... Yeah, I think you do. I think she says Rand al'Thor is the Dragon Reborn. She's in private, she's on her own, and she's eavesdropping on people, and then she verbalises to herself, to the world, Rand al'Thor is the Dragon Reborn, I think.
So she knows it, the reader knows it, Rand doesn't know it. Rand has learned he can channel. That's what he's learned. So yeah, so even though we come to that conclusion, the end is a little bit confusing, but I think we just have to live with it. And it sets up where the second book takes off.
And going back to what you said earlier, I really like the obfuscation of Ishamael Ba'alzamon, the Dark One, because it plays into that, the world, these ages last so long, you don't have memory of what comes before, and they're in a period now where there is that just societal fear of naming the Dark One. And Ishamael has been out causing mischief as Ba'alzamon. I think the way that he presents himself, is he really sure if he's the Dark One or not? Like he's, do you know what I mean? Like the fact that he's lived so long and a lot of that time has been on his own. Anyone would go a little bit stir crazy, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, and these guys don't want to share power.
No.
So if he can get away with being the Dark One, he will take that opportunity.
And I think because society as a whole doesn't know the true power, the true force and power of the evil, when they, but Ba'alzamon is a presence out there doing bad things, he becomes like a placeholder for the Dark One. Like Ba'alzamon is a name that they can say when they mean the Dark One, but without drawing its eye, because it isn't actually him. But they don't know that it's not actually him. Does that make, like, I love that. I love how complex and complicated it is.
I think there are things in the book that are confusing because they're confusing to us, but they weren't necessarily confusing to Robert Jordan, and things get revealed the further you go in. So part of the Wheel of Time experience is going through the confusion. One thing that I didn't clock until I read it on Reddit is that every time Rand accidentally channels in the book,
he gets sick.
And even reading through it again, I didn't clock. I just thought Rand was sick, so he'd been travelling.
And each time that he is sick, each time that he channels, the sickness gets closer.
It's so clever. It's so clever. And I think, again, even reading it through the second time, I didn't clock all the times he channeled. Like I did when they escaped from the inn, but I didn't when like he got Bella to run faster and stuff. So I just feel like every time you revisit this book, there's more that you see and experience. That's a good thing about books, and especially books like this. So clearly we love this book, and there's probably loads that we could say about it and loads we've missed out, but I just wanted to capture the joy of rereading it and discovering like, oh, it's still really good. And you're going to reread it now as well.
I am, yes. Yay. And then we'll talk about The Great Hunt together. Actually, before we do that, I need to send you Ravens, which is the second prologue of The Eye of the World that isn't actually in the editions. It was published in like a children's duology version of it, and it's Egwene as a 9-year-old setting up for Beltane, and it's just...
Okay, yes, do.
I think you'll like it.
Cool. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye! Because I'm off for 2 weeks. So.
Okay. I'm off for 2 weeks too.
I thought you were in after.
No, I've booked it off.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think we should all go out for breakfast.
Yeah, can I come to can I get crash your family breakfast? No, I can't.
I could ask my mum, actually, wouldn't I?
Paula's got a friend over.
We're just making our plans.
Yeah, it's fine. Batteries and memory cards last forever.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I need the toilet.